Let's talk to Mike Neville, former Met detective, who knows a lot about this. Mike, welcome to the show.
Yes, good evening.
I mean, back in your day, was a DEI officer a thing? I mean, how far have we fallen?
Well, there was no such thing when I started, and what strikes me, Tamara, is that the more diversity and inclusion officers are, the worse it gets. So we were told originally that if we have all this diversity, trust and confidence in the police will increase. Well, when I was a detective, the trust and confidence in the police was very, very high. Scotland Yard was seen as a crime-busting organisation. No trust and confidence in the police is at rock bottom.
No, you're completely right. And I think that that is for various reasons. I mean, as you always say, they'd spend way more time patrolling our tweets than patrolling the streets, or at least that's how you could perceive it because of sort of all the various useless arrests they've made and useless knocking on doors that they've done. I mean, this DEI thing, is this really going to be an issue in terms of how police think about what they are then doing on the streets? Do these DEI officers get into the minds of police and sort of infiltrate it and say, hey, you can't stop certain people, you can't do this, you can't do that? Is that what's going on here?
Well, it's all part of the culture, isn't it? People are frightened to death of identity politics, and it's really how they train the officers originally. You know, they trained when I started. It was like a military-type barracks at Hendon being marched around by a sergeant. Now it's at universities, so it's very woke, and you do see this. For example, you see the universities are full of anti-Semitic beliefs, and we see how the police, you know, are not trusted by the Jewish community.
Great point.
It's all backfired on them, and the key thing for me, they're going about trust and confidence. So they say, oh, we must have more black officers, we must have more women, we must have more gay officers. No one really cares about that, apart from these people in this cult. Most people would say if you solve more than 1% of thefts, if you solve more than 5% of burglaries, this is what people would care about. I keep saying the same thing. No one ever says, I didn't like the colour, sex or sexuality of the officer who turned up to help me when my phone was stolen, I was sexually assaulted, my house was burgled. What they say is, I got a rubbish service. The police didn't do what they should have done and didn't catch the criminals. And this is what would restore trust and confidence, but there's an obsession with identity politics right through the top of policing.
You make a really good point, and I think actually, to credit police officers, the ones that I have dealt with in the past year have been absolutely lovely and almost sort of apologised to me about, I mean, in the one incident where I did get sort of grabbed on the bus by someone, it was someone to do with the carnival that had been happening in Notting Hill. And they were sort of apologising to me because they were like, well, there's nothing really we can do. We don't want to get in trouble. This is sort of the done thing at this time of the year. And I just feel like you're right. Everyone's sort of trussing each other up and then nothing is getting done and it stalls a lot of progress. I mean, Pete, do you feel the same about this?
Oh, I don't
Pete Barnes is in the studio, by the way,
yeah,
Mike.
Hi, Mike. I had one simple thing. I don't trust any political party when they say they're going to get tough on crime and law in this country until you fire every chief of police in the country. They are the problem. It starts from the top down. The chief of chiefs, Gavin Stevenson, is useless because what we have to understand is these are little fiefdoms. These are kind of held together as a kind of he holds it together by the skin of his teeth, really, but they do have what's I'm reliably informed is the UK Policing Handbook, and this is kind of the police telling other, like bobbies on the beat, how to police. And if the people at the top are writing it, which they are, they're focusing on hate crime, they're focusing on policing tweets, so therefore the rank and file are. This is my point, is it all drips down from the top. So because the chiefs went to university, they got infected with the woke virus. I do use that word deliberately because it is an infection and it spreads and it spreads and it spreads. This was the kind of way that they took out law and order in Britain, if I'm being brutally honest, and again, not an accident. The moment we went from force to service, you saw law and order go out of control.
I mean, Britain used to be known for having some of the top policing in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like other countries would actually look towards Britain for some direction. And it just seems to have all gone really wrong. I mean, even when I grew up in Australia, we used to sort of watch all the British crime shows and the police were really onto it and you'd sort of see that. But now it does seem like the soft touch has really come into play. When I got my phone swiped, the policewoman said to me, I mean, I know these are all very minor minor things to happen.
But it's
so I'm
not,
really not.
Samara. This is sorry, it's not. There's no such thing as a small victim. There's no such thing as a small crime. It is a crime, and the Met Police have a responsibility to solve it, or at least do the best that they can. I don't believe that it's not really that they don't do anything. It's they don't turn up. That's the bigger problem. It's not even a light touch, it's no touch. That's the real problem that I think we have, particularly in the Met. I can't speak to other areas, of course, but I do feel here it's bicycle theft is just basically legal now.
Mike,
well, I think things are changing. Things are changing. So, I mean, I've worked with Hertfordshire Police, and I know that Greater Manchester Police, the Chief Constable there, Steve Watson, you know, back to basics, get it done. And Samara's right. The British Police are the head of the game. We had the first fingerprint department, the first DNA database. Scotland Yard was seen as a crime-busting organisation. I was proud to be a Scotland Yard detective. Now they're celebrating Pansexual Awareness Day and International Pronouns Day. And the thing is, I think they should have a vote. How many members of the public think this is important, or should those 64 staff, which includes a commander, one of the highest ranks in the police, should they be doing this, or should they be on burglaries, robberies, sex assaults, whatever else affects the public? That's what they should be doing. It should be kicked into touch. But you're absolutely right. This comes down from the top. When I joined the Met, half the senior officers were ex-army like myself, and there was a balance of ex-forces and university types. Now there's no one who was ex-forces.
I don't think you can be
all
anymore,
of a certain ilk. They all believe the certain thing. They'll talk about diversity. There is no diversity of thought. They also. I've actually had the displeasure of sitting with that Gavin Stevens, the head of NPCC, at dinner.
I am sorry.
I've never met. He's the most boring man I've ever met.
They sit you next to each other, Mike, because that would have. I would like to be in
probably
between
at a dinner as well.
And what struck me, when he was in charge of Surrey Police, he was the head of burglary, the national lead on burglary, and his police force, Surrey, had the worst detection rate for burglary. It just sums up the focus of these people is on the wrong thing. And while they're spending, £5 million on diversity, they're cutting forensics, they're cutting mounted branch, they're cutting front desks. I remember a time in the police, as a young officer stood there, my smart tunic with my army medals, people could come in and say, "Excuse me, I'm going on holiday this week. Would somebody check my premises?" And would take her details, and on night duty, an officer would go, this is in the 90s, would go and rattle the door, make sure it's all right. How have we gone from that to where the police don't even attend if somebody breaks in and nicks everything? What has gone wrong with policing when that goes on?
I think when you have that sort of dismantling of the policing, you just start to see a dismantling of society, and not to get very big picture about it, but I do think that is the case. And you're right. I would actually be fine with all these crazy initiatives if we were in a massive time of prosperity, but we're actually in a massive time of austerity at the moment. And you're right, all these cuts are being made in other parts where apparently we've got money in the back of the couch for 47 staff-supported networks and 64 full-time diversity staff, and a diversity calendar where there are apparently 63 awareness events like Pronouns Day and National Tsunami Awareness Week. I mean,
I'm sorry.
Blimey.
Well, it's like life events delivery manager. Now, look, people run about this work-life balance.
Sign me up.
It's all this trendy talk of work-life balance. My view is that I take the motto of the British Legion is service before self. So I was a soldier first, and then I joined the police. If you join something like policing, nursing, in the fire brigade or whatever, any of the armed forces, your duty is service before self. So there is no work-life balance. Your job is to work and do your duty, and everything else is a bonus, really, on the way. And we've lost that sense of duty, which has kept this country safe through 2 world wars. All the sort of police officers you've seen were awarded medals for being brave and doing the right thing. And it's all this cock and bull story of work-life balance. You join an organisation where your job is to serve others, they are more important than you. That's the reality of it.
Well said.
No, I completely agree. Mike, thank you so much for coming on the show. That's Mike Neville, former Met detective. They don't make them like him anymore. No. I wish he was in charge. Oh my gosh, one of my most favourite coppers out there.